for artificial intelligence. Now, every value in Python has a data type. In this session, we are going to look at the various data types supported by Python program, and we'll be starting with numbers. So with numbers, we have the integer data type. We also have complex number, and we have floats. Now, when we talk of floats, we are talking of any number with a decimal point, or rather, in other words, in fraction. I'll use an example of 100.55. This is considered a float number, and it is treated by Python programming language as a float data type. When we talk of integer, we are not talking of a whole number without fractions or without decimal places. Complex number comes in a form of a plus b is equals to 20, and it is a data type that has also been used in mathematics to achieve specific computations. And we are going to test all this in our practical session, which we are about to start. But before then, allow me to talk about sequence type. Sequence type includes lists. We also have tuple and string. Another data type is Boolean, which accepts only two values, that is true and false, or 0 and 1. We also have a dictionary, which is also used when you're manipulating a large set of data. And it is actually very, very useful because it accepts various types of data types. And we're going to see this in our demonstration as we proceed. So let us swing and start the demonstration on our Jupyter notebook. And I'm going to print something that we tried yesterday. This is 2022. Now, yesterday, I talked a bit about this. This is 2022 on execution is what will be printed as the output of this command. And you can see the output is exactly what is under the brackets, and they are the expression marks. These expression marks is what specifies this data type as string. So I'll also have another example. I'll say a is equals to, I'll use a string and say 20. I'll also say b is equals to another string called 10. So if I print this, I'm going to print this a plus b. Let us see what our result will be. So you can see our result is coming out as 2010, and ideally the result of adding 10 and 20 should be 30. Now, the reason we are getting 2010 is because this program has treated 20 as a string and 10 as a string, because it has the expression marks. So anything used in Python programming that has expression marks will always be treated as a string data type. Let's see what happens if we remove the strings. For instance, if we remove these strings, let me just remove the strings. I'll remove the strings and re-execute again. Now, this time I'm getting dirty. This is a demonstration that the next data type is the list, and a list is an ordered sequence of types. It can be a combination of data types. So I'm going to have C is equals to 80, 90. So it is only separated by commas. And I'm going to have this one as B, the next as A. Now, for us to denote, usually a list is denoted by a block comma, a block bracket. So I'll have a block bracket. And now I have my list. Let me print and see. So I'll print. And execute. And now you can see my output for the list. Now, there's something. Sometimes you might be asked to produce individual items on the list. Not really the entire list. Let's say you don't want to output this entire list. You just need to produce 90. This takes us to a concept called indices. So with indices, we'll be able to extract the individual values and be able to print. And this is how it works. So just print, and then the list name, and then the curly brackets. Now, the indices works by identifying these values. If, for instance, you want to identify these values from the beginning, the index is 0. You start counting from 0 going forward. So this is 80 is under 0, 90 is 1, B is 3, like that. If you want to count from behind, then you start with -1. So A will be -1, B will be -2, and moving on like that. So in case we want to extract 90, then we'll be using index 1. Because we said we are starting with 0 and 90 is 1. So I'll have index 1 here and execute. And you can see I'm able to obtain a single value. Now, sometimes the client has a specific need where they want you to extract 90 and B. Or they just want you to extract the grades, which is B and A. How do you do that? We are going to use a technique called slicing. So how does slicing works? Let me show you. You just put print. You put your blocks. And we are going to use the indexes to obtain our slices. So B and A are currently under, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So we are saying we are coming for index 2, and we're using a full colon to denote the highest. So right now, we only have B and A. We do not have any other value beyond. So we can say Index 2 going forward, all values after index 2, and I'll be able to execute. The other data type is the tuple, and there are two differences between tuple and the list. One is that a tuple cannot be manipulated. It is best suited for storing data that requires protection against modification. And the next difference is that the way it is presented is by use of parentheses, while the list uses square brackets. So that's the only difference. Immediately you have a tuple. If you try to change the values, you get an error. Moving on, we also have numeric data type, and we're going to start with integer. So I'm going to say E is equals to 35, and I'm going to print it. E, execute it, and you can see I'm able to get my integer. But then I'd like to introduce you to a method used to confirm data types. So I'm going to print, it's called type, and we're going to apply it on a variable E. So upon running, it is telling me that this is class int, meaning that this is an integer. Now, let us introduce other variables. I'll say this is 60.5. And I'm going to print this variable. I'm also going to print the type so as to confirm that the type is indeed a float. So you can see we are able to confirm our data types. As for the dictionary, it is usually a data type represented by curly brackets and has a key to represent the values. And usually the key and the values are separated by a semicolon. So this is an example of a dictionary where I came up with country, showing it's Kenya, county, it is Homa Bay, and location is Kiples. So after running it, this is what I have, and it is a demonstration of the dictionary. I still encourage you to look at the various methods that can be applied to the data types. The list in the manuals has all the necessary methods for you to explore. Otherwise, this marks the end of this session. As usual, we'll be having our exercise, which I'd like you to attempt before the next session. And I want to thank you for finding time to join this class. Thank you and goodbye for now. Bye.